the second half, the mentality for the Falcons has to be, we cannot beat ourselves. Let's go out here and play a better brand of football in which we execute and play with more energy.
We just saw the body language from Maurice Lindquist. You don't see a coach, a visiting coach, smiling and being that positive and upbeat starting the third quarter unless you've played an excellent half of football, and for the most part, his team has done that. See what BG can do on a kickoff return. There's a tackle made in space. And ball is going to be spotted at about the 27-yard line. All right, Ryan, you put your Bowling Green coaching cap on. What is Bowling Green's objectives going to be in this second half to find some sparks?
It's one possession at a time. You can get back into this game. I mean, there is still a half of football, and if Buffalo could score 31 and a half, so can Bowling Green, but they've got to do it one possession at a time. They have to take care of the football. They have to start imposing their will up front. Not a bad start.
They stay on the ground. That's Jamal Johnson. And again, we're kind of looking for one running back to separate himself from the others in the Bowling Green rushing game, but Johnson's been very good. As we see what Matt McDonald did in the first half, that's you want to burn that tape of the first half if you're Bowling Green for sure. And again, the pocket's been compromised too, though. Here's Johnson again. This time he gets met hard. Maybe gets out a little bit, but it's good defense up front there for Buffalo.
And Jalen Bass does an excellent job of making a play on that tackle. Let's check that. It wasn't Jalen Bass. Great job on the part of James Patterson and showing you why he's one of the premier linebackers in the MAC. That is what you call stuffing the back in the backfield.
PG is 2 of 8 on third downs. Again, just sustaining a drive would be important for them. McDonald throwing and incomplete. And no flags.
That was great coverage by Elijah Blades, beating the receiver to the spot. Blades is one of the more highly recruited players on this team. He was the top 300 recruit coming out of high school. And Coach Mo Linguist, look at that. He says he's got elite cover skills, and he showed it right there, Gerard.
And if you're McDonald, he certainly did show it. And if you're McDonald, you don't throw that pass. He was literally draped over the receiver. You can't assume that he's going to make a play there. You have to be smarter with the football, and luckily it was not intercepted.
So another off-the-mark punt. And it is touched by Bowling Green. So, again, the punting has been inconsistent for the Falcons as well. And it's Buffalo football. A chance to build on a 31-0 lead. So Buffalo with certainly their hand on the wheel, and they are driving the bus, and they have since everything started here. Their offensive line, though, Ryan, let's take a look and break down how this unit stacks up.
Well, Ron Cook and Mike Washington will get their names in the newspaper, but these 5 have been tremendous. Offensive coordinator Shane Montgomery had said the concern coming into the season is finding the best 5 and how they fit in. You see the tackles are both transfers. They're a bigger line than last year. And actually, Shane Montgomery coming into this game said, we're not running the football as well as we'd like to, but the group will get better as the season goes on. Well, they're running the ball just fine this afternoon.
They haven't been perfect per se, as you see the little swing pass to Gassett, and flags come late, and the law of averages would dictate that this is probably against Bowling Green, given how they've been leading in that category for sure.
And that's the category you don't want to lead in, obviously, being heavily penalized. And this defense has to get off the field. You got to force your own 3-and-out situation to the Falcons.
Holding, offense, number 10. 10-yard penalty for number 1. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the ball. Repeat, first down.
That's on Justin Marshall, so the Bulls walk it back. Gerard, Bowling Green defensively. Obviously, so many things that you could pick apart from what didn't work in the first half. What are you thinking the areas of they're trying to address right now?
Basics, tackling, making sure that you get the offensive player down when you have the opportunity in those one-on-one matchups and situations, making sure that you do the proper technique, and when you have your coverage and drop zones, responsibilities, that you're in the right place and applying pressure. You're going to have to play a complete half in order to get back in this football game if you're the Falcons defense.
Cole Snyder's numbers are rock solid. Now he runs, and he slides effectively to about the 40.
And Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. Where's there's defense where you don't have accountability for the quarterback, potentially who's a scrambler and a dual threat quarterback? They have to shore that up.
78 of the offense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Replay, first down.
They're going to get right guard Tyler Doty, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I don't think you necessarily need a spy who's watching Snyder all the time, but the structure of the defense has to account for the quarterback spilling, especially, this isn't Peyton Manning back there. Cole Snyder can run. No offense, Peyton, but
on the run, first down at 28. That's a positive pickup for the Bulls, and again, it's been Ron Cook that's been kind of revved the engines in the Buffalo ground game.
And look at the man-on-man blocking. Great job at the point of attack and yards after contact. Looked like we might have had a face mask at the tail end of that, but the officials did not see it that way.
Snyder with a good amount of time, and now a ball sailing incomplete.
One of the rare occasions on the day in which Snyder was off the mark and did not make the right decision in where he decided to pass the football, because right there he threw in the middle of the football field, and generally speaking, when you throw in the middle around the secondary, though we're not known for catching, bad things can occur.
Robbie Mangus was the target.
Coach Lindquist says that the Dartmouth transfer Mangus is like an offensive lineman as far as blocking goes, but he's got deceptive speed and good hands. He just wasn't 8 foot tall to catch that pass.
So you tell me he's a lineman in a tight end's body.
That's right.
Third and long. Ball up in the air. Oh, boy. Bobbled. Man, we've got so many bobbled balls today. The receivers can't make a clean catch, so it's incomplete, and the Bulls are going to have to punt.
And Mangus, this is your opportunity to get the football. This is a nice back shoulder throw in the seam area. You have to catch that. When you get your number called, because they don't go to him that often, you have to make that play. But again, you described him as, not my words, but your words, a lineman in a tight end's body.
Oh.
Yeah, but he also has good hands and deceptive speed. So,
so these things kind of balance themselves out after a while.
Yeah, the speed was
that ball goes through. I don't know if he touched it or not. And the officials are going to probably convene, and that was a Poor decision by Jake Rogers to get so close to that ball. I think the officials are going to say no touch, ergo. Ooh.
And very fortunate to not hit him.
Yeah.
But the rule of thumb is when you have a situation where you cannot get to the football, you make a stay away call, stay away call.
31-0. Buffalo has the lead.
Jake Rogers right here has to stay away from the football. He is very fortunate that this football does not touch him. As you see right here, it goes right by his hand and almost grazes his shoulder pad. Very fortunate that that football did not hit him.
One of the few things that does not hurt Bowling Green. They've had a lot of mistakes today that have led to the 31-0 score, but in all honesty, Buffalo would still be leading this game, but the margin wouldn't be as wide. On first down, McDonald looking, now throwing. That's complete. Tight end catch to Andrew Bench, and Bench stays up, gets beyond the 30. So, boy, the problem is we've seen it happen, Brian, with these receivers in open space. Easy catch, drop.
Yeah.
Not this time.
No, Bench is able to secure the football. And let's see what type of confidence and momentum this gives the Falcons offense. But, you know, stringing together positive plays has been an issue. Put it on the list, I suppose.
From the 30, McDonald taking a deep shot in same spot to Andrew Bench. Wow, he targets him twice and gets back-to-back big plays. That's 26 yards. And hey, you know what, Ryan? We can look at his stats, Matt McDonald's numbers all day and say, wow, what a bad passing game he's had. You factor in the drops and you factor in all those kinds of things, his confidence level has to get higher with plays like this.
Absolutely. And look, whenever I wanted to catch, I always look for the tight ends. They're generally right over the middle. They're big targets. There's another completion to Oda Hilaire. But, you know, go to the big body, let the tight end catch it, and over the, you know, if you think about throwing a comeback from the opposite hash, how far the ball has to travel, tight ends, you throw it right over the middle. If it's 10 yards, the ball has to travel 10 yards, not 30 yards for 10 yards. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
And Bench, if he keeps playing like this, he'll not be on the bench because that's exactly what this offense needs. Someone's a sure-handed receiver and has ball security once he catches the football.
BG at the 39. Here's McDonald with time and throwing and tipped, caught. He hauled it down. Wow, C.J. Lewis. We've seen tip balls all over the place, but not many come down in the hands of the wide receiver, Gerard.
You just witnessed a wide receiver playing like a DB, but then converting back to being a wide receiver. This is something out of the extraordinary. Great play on his part, because right here, this is an overthrown ball about to be intercepted. He bats it back to himself. Watch this play once again. Batted it down, back to himself, makes the play. Excellent play on the part of the receiver for the Bowling Green Falcons.
17 yards. Now ball is tipped. Oh, that looks familiar, but it falls harmlessly to the turf. And now Matt McDonald, 2 quarters later, at least he's starting to feel some confidence in his arm and his ability to move the football in the air. That's significant.
It is a no-fly zone if you're going to go over the middle. That's the thumper right there. That's Sean Dolak. And these slot receivers are going to think twice about running those interior routes with 52 in the middle.
McDonald throwing in the middle. That one's caught by Tyrone Broden. And all of a sudden, momentum, if there is such a thing, is coming together for Bowling Green offensively.
That's right. 6'7" wide receiver Broden goes up in the air and comes down with his pass, Ryan. A nice job of getting ball security, knowing he's going to take a shot.
I love the McDonald. You know, he catches it in the shotgun, quick 3-step drop, on rhythm and on time with the football.
So that's a 16-yard pickup, and the Falcons in the red zone. They have 4 first downs on this drive. Oh, here comes pressure. Now back in the end zone. Oh, no. But not a terrible throw, because he threw it in a place where the DB could not get it. That's Bowden again, trying to use his 6'7" frame. It's from West Bloomfield High School in suburban Detroit.
As you see right there, 6'7" frame still could not get up high enough to pull that football down. And Ryan, this is another occasion where, again, on the run, we see McDonald not being able to make an accurate pass.
Yeah, it's a really difficult thing sometimes, especially when you're throwing back across your body.
Johnson turns it back in inside the 5, down to about the 2.
It's like John Muse, the defensive back, came up and shut that run down.
And if I'm the Falcons, I'm thinking, even if this is not a positive play on 3rd down, I cannot bring my field goal unit onto the football field. I have to get a touchdown.
Let's not revisit that, shall we? You guys know what I mean. 3rd down and goal from the 3 on the ground, and the push is not going to get the end zone. And the ball is stripped out. Buffalo has ripped it out, and the Bulls are going to run big time down the sideline. That's James Patterson, who's got a convoy, and it is a touchdown. Buffalo, 98 yards on the strip.
And unfortunately for the fortunately for the Buffalo Bulls, history repeats itself. And for the Falcons, once again, you have a positive play.
Fumble recovered by the defense, score touchdown.
Taking place. And in the midst of that positive play, you have a costly turnover. Ball security has been a major issue for the Falcons today. As you see right here, nice job of hitting the hole. I would say bounce it out even further than you're probably scoring. But Johnson has to hold on to the football and give credit to the Falcons. Number 98, Deshaun Folsom, does an excellent job of stealing this football, taking it from the would-be runner, and taking it to the house. This is excellent defense right here, and this is a focus point for the defense. To make a strip like this, if a guy wants to keep running and turning his legs, do exactly this. Take the football from him. And check that. That's Patterson, not Folsom, who comes up with the football, and he's been a star defensive player for this Bills football team for many years now.
There were multiple Buffalo players digging in on that ball. 38-0 is your Buffalo lead at BG. So the graphic on the lower left screen tells you all you have to know. Patterson, you know, it's not often that those bigs get a chance to strut for 100-ish yards, but that's what he just did. Gerard, closest you got to a play like that was?
I haven't seen a play like that ever, so I know. Where you actually hold the guy up.
We gave him an opening. Okay.
Thank you. But you're standing the running back up, and they take and have the presence of mind to take the football from the running back and then take it 98 to 99 yards to for the touchdown. Very impressive.
And a big kick. That ball sails through the end zone, and, well, Scott Loeffler's halftime speech, well, you know, we've said it all game. Bowling Green, even when they put good things together, they just can't make it finish and become, you know, tangible points.
Right.
And that first drive was perfect because we saw that, you know, offensively, Matt McDonald definitely was comfortable in making things happen. On first down, he'll throw in the middle, in the seam. Well, there it is again. Again, it's C.J. Lewis who just, you know, 27 yards, and the passing game is starting to establish itself. But
and they're taking advantage of the fact that, in all honesty, Buffalo is playing a semblance of a prevent defense. They're backed off, giving them these passes, figuring that, hey, we'll just let them get to the end zone and then make a play once they're there.
Another throw on the mark. And McDonald, Ryan, let's give credit to Matt McDonald. He's taking some deep chances, throwing the ball into some spaces that maybe he was reluctant to earlier.
I think what Gerard just said is completely true. They've got two high safeties and they're about 20 yards off. So the linebackers are playing about 5 yards off and they're getting into their drops, but you're not dropping that deep. So there's going to be a natural hole in the middle of the defense, and McDonald and C.J. Lewis are exploiting that right now.
He's already doubled up his numbers passing in the first half. Ball down at the 20-yard line. Christian Sims making that catch.
And you could say, where has this been all game? But frankly, it hasn't been there because it hasn't been available, because Buffalo wasn't in a prevent defense. Now they've got three safeties in the middle of the field, and they're 15 yards off the ball. They're still allowing the underneath stuff in the red zone.
And couple that with the fact that they're going with a three-man rush, and they don't even have their starters on the defensive line in there as well. So, yes, Bowling Green should be taking advantage of this opportunity.
And McDonald avoids the slide and avoids the contact and gets right to the first down marker.
Because if you're going to go for a three-man pass rush, that's pretty much saying that, hey, we know you're going to pass, and we're not trying to put pressure on you. And obviously, McDonald, to his credit, has done a much better job when he doesn't have the pressure. But when they've applied it, it has not been that successful for the Bowling Green Falcons.
So the first down makes it 1st and 10 from the 15. And on the ground, they go with Teron Keith, who's not been featured too much in the run game for BG.
And if I'm McDonald in the huddle when I'm calling the plays, I'm telling the guys, ball security. Ball security. It's not enough to have just positive plays. We need to keep possession of the football.
That's first carry of the game for Teron Keith, to your point, Dan.
2nd down and 6. Oh, he avoids it. Wow, crafty play. Now a throw on the run and incomplete. I don't think he held it. Now they're calling it a juggle. That was Odu Hilaire, who could not possess it in bounds.
Gutsy play by McDonald to extend it.
And interesting, because I felt had he had run it, he might have scored. You see right here, great job of extending the play and trying to make a completion to his receiver, Hilaire. But as you see right there, toe is on the white as he's bobbling the football. But nice effort on his part.
It's been a really well officiated game. In my opinion, there's been a couple close calls. This one, the nearly muffed punt by BG come to mind, and they've got him right.
Well, I'm not going to let him off the hook for that DB pass interference play.
Oh, you never do that. And here's the catch in the flat. This is Keith. Touchdown, Bowling Green.
And the Falcon Brass have something to cheer about. Nice execution on that play. Now just piece together more plays like that where you're in the right blocking position from a lineman standpoint, and then you receive and secure the ball. Keith, second time today we've called his name. Great job on his part of getting to the end zone and create a positive play to give the fan base here, as well as his teammates, something to cheer about.
Credit that offensive line, too. Jakari Robinson, Jalen Grant getting out in front of Keith. Look at the big fellas leading the way.
That's how you sell a screen. Earlier in the game, what did we see with the screen? We saw a situation where they completely let the defenders run through the backfield to surround the quarterback McDonald. But right there, engage first, make the initial contact, then let the defenders go by and make the play, as you see it taking place right here. Great job of execution of the screen and getting a hat on a hat.
So an excellent execution by Bowling Green. And they take that 0 off the scoreboard. And
more importantly, right? Avoid the shutout.
Right.
We'll see. I'm interested to see what Buffalo does on their next defensive possession if they're going to stay. And it might depend on how they do offensively here. But do they stay in that prevent defense?
Right.
Because in 2 possessions so far this half, McDonald primarily passing. The first one, 9 plays, 78 yards. And then they come back in 80 yards. The only difference on the second one is they finish it off with points.
And then the question becomes with that, does Bowling Green have enough possessions left in the game to get back into place? Because the long drives and methodical drives probably won't work. So at some point, they're going to have to do more explosive plays to close the gap with the Bulls.
Bowling Green's last shutout here at Deutsch Perry, when they were shut out at home, that was back in 1995, so you can take that off the board. Line drive kick goes into the end zone. And Ryan, I guess, you know, we talked about there's a flag on the kickoff and about where the kickoff was kicked. Ryan, we talked about, okay, what are your Scott Loeffler at halftime? How are you motivating your team? How are you kind of positioning them for the second half?
Offside. Kicking team 17. 5-yard penalty ended on to the end of the kick. First down.
At this point, I guess my perception would be, hey, let's just get confidence back. We can't maybe get points. We can't maybe get all the way back and make this a really competitive game. But we got to get confidence first.
Yeah, I like that because the season doesn't end today. You know, they're still deep in the MAC. It's only their first loss in MAC play. But you don't want this type of play to linger. And you have an opportunity to change it right now. And this is a good start defensively. You know, the offense has woken up. They need the defense to do the same thing. And you see Husky coming up and making a play.
Mike Washington carries there for Buffalo.
Yeah, and the key to this play right here is the defense does a good job of stringing their play along and not allowing Washington to get upfield with the penetration and the ability to run laterally to the sideline and then force the play with the one-on-one tackle eventually.
Brings up 2nd down and 7. Bulls have been in command from the opening kickoff. A gutsy run where Buffalo just will not go down.
More importantly, they keep possession of the football with ball security. Another good job on the part of Washington of running the football effectively.
Yeah, he looked bottled up at the line of scrimmage, and somehow he squirted out, and he turned what appeared to be a stalemate at the line of scrimmage into a 9-yard gain.
We call that an effort play on his part. Wanted more than the defense wanted to bring him down.
3rd down and 1. This is Washington waiting for blockers. He gets enough, and boy, he just keeps pushing and pushing. He gets about 6 or 7 yards out of what should have been 1.
And right now, if you're going to ask me who has a better weight room program, I'm going to have to go with the Buffalo Bulls because they seem to be much more stronger than the Falcons in regards to who's pushing who around on the football field today.
Yeah, it starts up front. That offensive line, to take a look at some of the big fellas right there. Big Desmond Bissett, number 75 in the back of that huddle. They've been tremendous. They've been tremendous.
Bulls at their own 47. And there's Washington again, pushed out. BG able to get some penetration into the backfield and force him out for really not much of a gain at all, maybe even a loss.
And the fact that he actually got a gain on that was impressive, because that should have been a tackle for loss. But once again, Washington shows you, Ryan, his ability to get positive yards even when everything is falling apart around him.
Yeah, there's been too many first tackles that have not been made for Bowling Green. Contact, bring the man to the turf, and they've allowed Washington, Cook, and some of the Buffalo receivers to get yards after contact and yards after catch.
Snyder's going to throw, and a tight ball, a comeback route complete. Maryland Johnson on the grab.
What a nice route on the part of Maryland Johnson. And what I really love about the route is the fact that he did not go in front of the sticks. He was right at the sticks.
Offense, 75. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Replay first down.
So Marlin's reception is going to bring it back after the flag.
You know, if you're going to hold, it's hard to hide that when you're playing on the edge and you're 6'7", 305. There he is on the left of your screen. Just gets beat and
Correction, replay second down.
holds him up. Yeah, because the tackle, he's out in space. You know, when you're a guard or a center, a little bit easier to hide the hold.
So they lose 10 yards. 2nd and 20. Snyder, a little safe throw and a missed tackle with Cook on the reception. He still spins out and gets almost back to the original line of scrimmage.
This is that effort, Gerard, that Buffalo's been giving all afternoon. The missed tackle, frankly, barely gets his hands on him, and they have to rely on the eraser, Chris Bacon, to come up and make that tackle, which, frankly, was probably a touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, so what could have been a tackle for a loss ended up being a positive gain. And that is disheartening to a defense and a football team.
Snyder with time. Now he double pumps and sails it over the head of Marlon Johnson.
Snyder took a shot. Bowling Green, for one of the few times this afternoon, was able to get into the backfield, pressure Snyder, and make him throw before he was ready to.
And though it's unlikely, if you're Bowling Green right now, you're saying, watch the fake. Watch the fake.
Yeah, Buffalo had a few tricks up their sleeve on special teams in the first half. Pretty much anything they did worked out well. Good punt caught on the fly at the 11-yard line, and taken down not long afterwards is Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers showing his ability to be elusive, make a couple guys miss, and more importantly, properly.
One last thought on Buffalo's offense right now, Ryan. At what point do you have to make a decision about, hey, you're still going to be aggressive. Obviously, you still need to be productive, but the way the scoreboard is, you're not playing with any real great sense of urgency.
Yeah, that possession, it depends how close the score gets, but if it's still a 30-point game, they're just fine with that possession. You used up about 4 minutes of clock. You flip the field, and there's Sims.
On the field,
they're going to rule that a drop.
Second down.
But yeah, I mean, there's no real. Sure, it's going to look good to score 50 points if you want to try and push it. But frankly, at this point, you want to get out of here with the W. You want to keep your guys healthy. So they want to use clock as much as they want to score. And here's the second half drive for Bowling Green.
Yeah, the risk-taking part of the scheme for Buffalo is over. They just, again, it's clock management, like you said, and first down pickup for Bowling Green.
Kevon Kroom with his first catch of the game.
McDonald throws, and two men converge, but it is a catch for Bowling Green against. They get the tight end Sims involved.
One of the adjustments that Buffalo has made as opposed to the previous drives is that they're now going back to a four-man rush, because when they were rushing only three guys, it was giving McDonald the time to go down the field with the football. Now he has to settle for more short to intermediate routes as opposed to chunk play passes.
And to follow that, Gerard, a coach can make a decision and say, hey, I want to see what my different scheme looks like in real time, right?
Exactly, and this is the perfect game for Buffalo to sort that out and see, okay, are we more effective with the 3-man and dropping guys into the zone or the 4-man rushing? It's obvious that they're doing a much better job when they have 4 guys rushing the quarterback as opposed to 3.
So the clock rolls. The teams have traded second half touchdowns, but Buffalo came out like a sledgehammer and took control of this game with 17 first quarter points. From the 45-yard line. McDonald shifting and now throwing. Wow, a bailout catch by C.J. Lewis. That play had fiasco written all over it. Instead, it turns out to be a nice pickup for BG.
What McDonald does well is, despite all the people and bodies around him and chasing him, his eyes remain downfield, and he throws Lewis the ball in the direction away from the defenders. It's a really nice play by McDonald. And Gerard, I really like your point about the 4-man rush, because McDonald's not comfortable back there.
No, he's not, but I like how Lewis sat down in that zone. It was effective. And again, the defense is going to give you 5 yards. Granted, you need to score points quick, fast, and hurry to get back in this game. Take what they're giving you and not force the issue. And McDonald right there did just that.
That's going to put a lid on our third quarter of football. Buffalo slowing down offensively, but still definitely in command. 38-7 is the lead for the Bulls over Bowling Green. We'll have fourth quarter action from Joyce Perry when we come back. BG with the football, and offensively, just some good offensive football here, Ryan, from quarterback Matt McDonald.
Well, it's much improved. He had a tremendous quarter rather, the third quarter, throwing the football, and he's really finding receivers. There it is again. Short. Buffalo is going to allow that. They're keeping everything in front of them. But statistically, it's going to look good for McDonald.
Kevon Kroom on that catch. And again, let's emphasize, it is his birthday. You got to have some good things happen on your birthday. So a strong second half will maybe take some of the sting out of this.
It certainly will. And you want to play a clean and better second half than you did in the first half, because you can build on this. It's still early in the season. A lot of football left to be played. So you just don't bury your football and quit and say there's no more football going to be played. So no, you try to do the best you can and move forward.
Yeah, they're going to get big Jalen Grant. You know what I would say, if I were McDonald and anybody came to me and said, did you ever play a football game on your birthday and how did it go? I would say, yes, I did, and I threw for 100. Here's the penalty right here at the tail end. Look at 77, and he's going to push Williams, and Williams is going to get an Oscar.
Yeah.
But
he got his hands backwards as he was falling down.
Unnecessary roughness, offense, number 77.
That's Jalen Grant.
15-yard penalty replay, first down.
Did Jalen Grant just go palms up?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He said, that wasn't me.
Me? Yeah, it was you.
And a positive play negated once again by unnecessary roughness.
Correction. The down will count. It's second down.
And these are the things that you have to clean up, and they're easy to clean up because it's just really being accountable and not doing a me guy thing. And what is a me guy thing is when you do something that makes yourself feel good in the moment as opposed to thinking, how's this going to impact our football team?
Yeah.
Little screen over the middle. Wow, that was dangerous, but Hilaire catches it and doesn't get much after the catch. Another flag.
And judging from the body language,
personal foul.
It's going to be against Buffalo.
Pass. Defense, number 95. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Ryan, that ball is hanging in the air. That just felt like one of those first half throws that could have been a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, and this was one that Bowling Green got. There's Damon Williams with the push late. And Damon Williams was the one who just drew the penalty from Jalen Grant, now commits one of his own.
And I love the fact that Coach Lindquist is in his face telling him, well, come on, we have to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
You play a better brand of football than that. You're a leader out there. You don't need those type of mistakes.
Well, and a big lead doesn't give you, free reign to do whatever you want on the football field.
Exactly.
McDonald going for the corner end zone, over the shoulder. Good throw there. Pretty much on target to C.J. Lewis, but coverage was good. I'm pretty impressed, Gerard, with this Buffalo secondary. They've been pretty good today.
Yes, tight coverage throughout the course of the day. When it mattered most, they can come up with big plays. And right there was an example of how you, push the receiver to the boundary so he doesn't have enough room to make a play. And Ryan, you know how important that placing is for those low percentage passes like a fade.
You have to give your quarterback room to make the throw. And that time it was Elijah Blades who pushed Lewis out. And, you're using that 12th defender, the sideline, and it just creates a smaller and smaller window, but they're going right back to it.
Same spot. Ball knocked away. Different receiver. That's Odu Hilaire.
Same defensive back, Elijah Blades. I think they might be better served to pick on somebody else because number 2 can flat out cover, Gerard.
And it's been that way throughout the course of the game, and a great job. They're going to come back to that same play. Guess what? I'm going to give you the same type of results, and if you might throw this pass again, he may intercept it because his confidence has to be high right now. And if he does look back for the football as opposed to playing the receiver's hands, he might have come up with an interception.
Yep.
3rd down and 10. We've seen a much more efficient Bowling Green passing game in this second half, but see what they dial up here. Now it's, a good takedown. McDonald gets tossed. And they are all fired up. Ibrahim Kante is the one who is going to get this sack. Kind of got pushed into it, but still made the play. So it really screws up BG. Now it brings up 4th down and 19. And this point, there's really no reason to have your field goal kicker out there, and you're not really in range anyway.
First sack on the season for the NC State transfer Conte. 4th down.
McDonald's going to run, and that's a good run, but it's not going to get 19 yards for sure, and it's a turnover now for Buffalo getting the ball.
Yeah, in these situations, I know you don't want to get into bad habits and make bad decisions, but throwing the ball up there and giving a receiver a chance, that's the time to do it.
38-7 is Buffalo's score on Bowling Green as our 4th quarter continues. Buffalo in the driver's seat here at Bowling Green with a 38-7 lead. Here's our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One. Number 5 Clemson coming off that 30-20 win over then number 10 NC State. They head north to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit have the call at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. Weather has been awesome today. But Bowling Green fans hope that the level of football would kick up here in the last quarter. And Buffalo operating with Cole Snyder still in at quarterback. And not much gain on first down. Ryan, what are your likes about what Buffalo's done offensively today?
Well, they established the ground game, and they've been able to take shots and be successful at it downfield. So I like anytime a team can stretch the defense, be it sideline to sideline and at the different levels, both being able to run the ball and stretch the defense vertically. I think those two complement each other very well, and Buffalo's done a nice job of it. And so much of it is the offensive line and Cole Snyder's decision-making.
On the ground, and this is Cook, and he shakes and bakes and gets a big explosion run outside, finally taken down at about the 47-48-yard line for a gain of 27.
And the former receiver converted to a running back shows you his ability to get to that third level. And right here, Cook says, I'm going to inside. No, I'm going to bounce outside. Shows his shiftiness and his ability to bounce the ball and then make a decision protecting the football. Most importantly, and getting those positive yards.
What I like is that little inside influence to bring the defender inside of his blocker, and essentially he got a 2-for-1 with his wide receiver blocking on the edge because he was able to set up the defender in that fashion.
Yeah, what a 1-2 combo between Mike Washington and Ron Cook. Buffalo's running game is in great shape. Except for that play.
Right there, looks like, look, man, I'm tired.
Yeah, right. When you go 292 on the ground, you got good things going.
Well, from our vantage point in the booth, guys, we're almost on the ball, and you can see the offensive line of Buffalo reestablishing the line of scrimmage a yard or two into Bowling Green. And what that means is, again, other than that play, but most of these, contact is happening past the line of scrimmage. And that's because of the push the big fellas are getting up front.
Right, as a defender, when it's an even draw or your offense is getting pushed, you're going to lose. You have to get penetration in order to play defense successfully on any level.
Snyder goes down and takes a late hit. Just nothing.
Yeah, he's got a little hobble there, but he needs to do a better job of establishing himself with his slides.
Yeah, if you look at this, I think Snyder gets his left leg folded up underneath himself when he takes a slide.
Yeah, that's more. So you're saying that's more of a bad slide than it is bad contact?
It is. Yes,
Bad
his
technique.
cleat actually got caught in the turf.
Yeah.
Well, it's important for us to clarify that because, you know, John Q. Fan just sees a guy get hit and doesn't realize that it's the player's fault, not the other players.
Yeah.
There's Washington. He's been a workhorse, too.
But there's that surge again that Ryan was just describing of how the push of the offensive line for the Bulls is just moving mass of that Bowling Green Falcons defense.
Yeah, take a look at this. The offensive, look where they're moving. I mean, the whole offensive line's moving forward.
And whenever you have a defensive tackle 7 to 8 yards down the football field, that tells you everything you need to know as far as who's winning at the point of attack on the offensive line, between the defensive line and the trenches.
So it's 4th down and 7. Buffalo trying to figure out what they're going to do, and I don't think Maurice is going to call a timeout. So Coach Linguist is going to get a breather for his team. A 38-7 lead for Buffalo here at Bowling Green. So Falcon fans have been a little bit underwhelmed as the Buffalo Bulls, they came to play. They took this game over early and really never let it out of their grasp. So 4th and 7 opportunity here. And they show punt. And in the first half, their special teams had all kinds of surprises for us, but probably with the score now, it's going to be a little more conventional.
Yes, and Coach Leffler, Dan was writing some notes. I would love to see what he has on that pad.
Probably not too pretty. Good pressure, but Balter gets it off, and it goes into the end zone for no return. So timeout here with a break in the action. 4th quarter, a lead for Buffalo on BG.
Sean Dolak is on the attack, and when he's on the attack, you have to watch out. He is one of the premier defenders in the MAC, and you see the stats right there. MAC East Division Defensive Player of the Week, 10-plus tackles in 3 of the last 4 games. And guys, he's put up that same temper effort today. Very impressed with what we've seen out of Dolak in that he has shown conviction, he's shown heart, he's shown toughness, and he's shown that he is the type of guy. Is the reason why he earned that scholarship is because of the fact that he takes the game seriously, and when he's on the football field, he plays at extremely high level.
Screen pass is complete.
Sean Dolak just drew a flag for a hold.
Okay, well, bad timing award, but okay.
No, listen, it's as good as it.
Holding. Offense, number 77.
Okay.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Yeah, what I was going to say is Jalen Grant had to grab him, and sometimes drawing a holding penalty is better than making the tackle.
Exactly, because then they go back 15 yards.
And we're looking at it here. He's 2 tackles shy. He's at the bottom. You see 13 tackles, 2 tackles shy of his career high in a game. That was earlier this year. In week 2 against Holy Cross, he had 15.
And you can't say enough about a guy who earns his scholarship. Didn't get out of high school, comes on campus, underrated, and finds a way to get the job done. Now he finds himself being a starter and one of the stars along with Patterson on this defense because, as you know, Buffalo is called linebacker U.
Yeah, how about Max Michel coming in from defensive end to basically put down McDonald and make it a big loss for BG.
That has been a common theme today, a big loss for BG. But when you have leadership like Patterson and Dolak in the middle of the football field, make this calls, and at the same time being sideline to sideline type of defenders, how the things are going to take place for your defense. And they've played tremendous today.
Second down and 18. The Falcons have abandoned the running game in this second half, considering they were down 31 points at halftime. There's a catch in traffic, and again is Teron Keith, who's really had his number called. Dolak, though, Ryan makes that tackle. Again, he just continues to make his presence felt.
The only question I have after watching Sean Dolak is who didn't want to offer him a scholarship coming out of high school? I mean, because he just didn't start playing with this mentality, Gerard.
Well, it shows you, Ryan, that the scouting services aren't perfect, and sometimes you miss on guys. And also, too, there's something to be said about, did he have a growth spurt, and did he figure out how he wanted to approach the game from a mental standpoint and through his maturation process? You never know, but you're right. How does a guy like that get missed? But I tell you one thing, Buffalo is certainly happy that they found him.
And they actually, speaking of Dolak, they might have got him with pass interference downfield.
Buffalo saying the ball was tipped.
There's no foul in the play for pass interference. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Third down, fourth down.
And let's see if we...
As you see right there,
Yeah.
the ball is certainly tipped. So I don't know how you make that call, because it wasn't catchable at that point.
Yeah, Dolak in coverage, what I was talking about. He was about 7-8 yards down, and the tight end came to run a smash route, and Dolak ran right into him. It's like one of those where how far down the field are you allowed to create a collision?
Yeah, he covers a lot of space for sure for the Bulls. And punting here, fourth down and 5.
Just a junior.
So he's still got some football left in the tank for the Bulls. And a good punt. And it takes a Bowling Green bounce. No return inside the 14. Let's call it the 12 now. Timeout here at Deutsch Perry Stadium with Buffalo in control, leading Bowling Green 38-7. Buffalo's 31-0 halftime lead has held up as we are midway through our fourth quarter. Next week, we continue with a full slate of action. Central Michigan on the road at Akron. Bowling Green home against Miami of Ohio. Buffalo and UMass will go toe-to-toe. UConn at Ball State. Eastern Michigan home against Northern Illinois. And then Kent State at Toledo. All 5 games will air streaming live on the ESPN app, and they're all on the ESPN family of networks. So still a lot of action to go between now and the end of November when everything comes to a head at Ford Field. So a quarterback switch for Buffalo. And they hand off on first down. And this is Casey Case, sophomore from Winter Park High School in Florida. Pretty tall, 6'6", 222 pounds. So
he can sling it. As a senior at Winter Park, he had over 2,200 yards passing and 22 touchdown passes.
Well, I got a feeling he won't get many passing opportunities.
No.
It's always the worst part.
Gerard, is that what you're hoping for? Or is that what you really think is going to happen? Well, they do stay on the ground. They've got L.J. Henderson and Washington in the backfield. So Ron Cook has been dynamic, and ditto for Washington with a 92-yard touchdown run in the first half. Ryan, it's hard to find fault with anything Buffalo's done offensively today.
Yeah, I mean, in the second half, they haven't been as explosive because they're more concerned about that 6:41 counting down to get out of here with a win. But they have been very efficient running, throwing the ball. And as I've said numerous times, it's because of those 5 guys in front blocking. The offensive line has been very impressive.
Multiple plays and only a couple times you can think of a miscue on the part of Buffalo Bills on offense.
Henderson tries to get wide, but Bowling Green able to shut him down.
And they're going to see if they move the chains here.
You know, it doesn't first down.
You know, it's a very rare thing in football that it's a recent trend, is the lack of measurements.
Oh.
You never see measurements anymore in football.
You know what? That's an excellent point, and
it's probably my 15th of those today. But go ahead.
But who's counting?
Yeah, I know.
It's so insightful. I can't even come up with anything that would counter it. So
that's what happens when you get hit early.
Yeah, right. We'll let you bask in your 14th moment of glory. Is that
15th.
Okay.
And 16's coming in 1 second. And it's
very good.
And to make it even more difficult, it'll be about the same thing, the chains. So here's what it is, guys, and I have a question for you.
Okay.
With so many technological advances, why are we still measuring 10 yards with chain links attached?
Right.
Like, there's not lasers that go out there, and then you know if the football, which would also have some sort of technology linked to that, passed it or not. Did it break the plane?
Probably a chain gang union is preventing that from taking place.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Those guys get paid too, and you just want to take money out of their pocket.
Look at, you know, I'm going to tell you, I did a high school game in Ohio last night, and I saw a first. One of the guys got tackled, and he took out the stand-up part of it and broke it. And there was a delay in action, and they had to go into the field house, and the ref came running out with a fresh set of chains. We went to the backup chains, not the chain gang. They were fine, thankfully.
Right.
But
the actual chain.
Yeah, but the actual chain broke.
Well,
and if they had made the advancement that I had suggested, which is the laser, you wouldn't have to worry about having a backup set of chains somewhere.
I'm pretty sure at some point, though, that will take place, that they will put the microchip in the actual ball, because they actually have them in ball as far as measuring the pressure and things of that nature. So why not that, Merrill?
Yeah, and then we'll burn this tape so the chain gang union doesn't blame me for it.
Costs us a job.
Yeah, cost the jobs, yeah.
You may have to keep a low profile for the next couple of weeks.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like, that was him, not me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to scoot over here.
Yeah. I'm going to show up next week here to do the game with Dan, and I'm going to have a fake mustache.
Right.
I'll have like dark hair.
That's what Eli Manning did last week in the Peyton place.
Yeah,
undercover at Penn State.
You can call me Chad Powers if you'd like.
Right.
That was a funny bit.
Yeah,
Eli's Places is pretty good.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
Not enough pressure on the punt, and BG's going to get a return out of this. This is Jake Rogers, but he is swarmed and taken down. And we are about 3 minutes and 10 seconds away from Buffalo getting a very important road win here at BG. Baseball coming up later at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific on ESPN. Game 2 of the best-of-3 wild card series. The Mariners and the Jays, followed by the Padres and Mets at Citi Fields. Both games on ESPN Deportes. Then the night game, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. The Phillies and the Cardinals all on ESPN2. All 3 games available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. And an explosion run here for BG with Nick Mosley, the tailback, who's getting his first touch today, and the flag goes, so we'll find out whether we're moving forward or going back.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 3. That 15-yard penalty be added on to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
And you always want to keep those hands low. Very dangerous play right there, and that is just something that may cause one to be ejected out of the game. You got to do a better job of your tackling techniques and not grab that face mask. But nice run on the part of Mosley.
So that's Keyshawn Cobb on the flag. And the Falcons get good field position, and they get a good run here as they go back to Mosley.
You know, one question, Gerard, that I have, because, look, I didn't like to tackle people. I said on the offense side of the ball is when you get your hand on the face mask, you have to realize it's wrong and let go. That time it looked like the defender actually drug Mosley into the ground.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. It was more egregious than what they penalized him for, in my opinion, in that you want to let that hand go, and on top of that, it hurts your hand to tackle someone by the face mask.
Which always surprises me when you see guys punch each other in the helmet, like when you get in a fist fight. Like, why would you do that?
Right. Open palm. I'd have to be teaching that.
So Mosley on the run. We should also obviously reference the quarterback switch. So Matt McDonald's done. Camden Orth has come in under center for BG, but I don't think he's going to get a chance to showcase any of his skills in the last couple minutes here.
Transfer from the Long Island Sharks. Long Island made their way through the MAC a little bit. They played Toledo. They played Akron. The great Ron Cooper from former Eastern Michigan head man is the head coach at Long Island right now.
Orth gets overwhelmed and taken down. Clock still rolling with under 1:30 left to go here. Buffalo came out and was just nasty from the get-go offensively. 17 first quarter points, and they put the Falcons in their rearview mirror.
Yeah, established themselves early and often throughout the course of this game, Ryan, and very impressive on the offense, defensive, and special teams units as they played complementary football.
Or throw a deep ball. That was a good look.
And Little, you have to make that play. You had an opportunity to catch the football. Yes, you had to turn around and adjust, but if it hits your hands and you are a D1 athlete, you have to catch that football.
Yeah, Griffin Little a little bit off balance trying to twist around for it. Cameron Orth started for Bowling Green 2 weeks ago at Mississippi State when McDonald was out hurt, so this is not a case where he's coming in totally green. But that's going to effectively put an end to this ball game as the Bulls go into victory formation.
This is one of the best moments in football when you're on the winning side of the equation.
That's right.
So the road trip is successful pretty much all the way across the board for Maurice Linguist and the Buffalo Bulls, who have made a statement that they are the real deal here in the MAC East.
3-0 in the MAC East. That speaks volume, because because we know the fact that the MAC is very, very difficult conference to figure out, especially in the East, where right now you say Kent State, they're in the vying, but you don't know. With Buffalo, there's a pleasant surprise. They were about to come be third in the division, but right now they're number 1.
Every week is a challenge in the Mid-American Conference, but Buffalo came in and just did what they needed to do, and Scott Loeffler will shake hands with Maurice Linguist. And for Bowling Green, the upside for them, Ryan, is they get a chance to come home next Saturday. Obviously, this is not a great, they're not in a great mindset now, but they can at least start building and looking back and saying, all right, we know there's things to correct. Where do we start?
Some of these guys from Bowling Green, real competitors, they want to play tomorrow because you want to get this taste out of your mouth as soon as possible. But Coach Loeffler he's a very good coach. He's going to get these guys in the right headspace to come out and say, everybody has one of these. We just can't have a repeat.
Exactly.
You don't want one loss to lead to the next one. Gerard Cherry, some final thoughts from you.
Exactly. You don't want the snowball effect. And if you're Buffalo, what do? You build upon this. You send a message to the rest of the MAC that, hey, we are on the attack and we are here to be taken seriously, and that we're going to continue to play at a higher level, and whoever comes our way, whether we have to be home or away, that we're going to play at a high level as they did today. Very impressive effort on the part of Buffalo and what they were able to accomplish against a good football team in the Bowling Green Falcons.
Great game, guys. I'm Dan Gutowski, Ryan Kavanaugh, and Gerard Cherry. We say so long from Doak Perry Stadium in Bowling Green, Ohio. Final score: Buffalo over Bowling Green, 38-7. All games airing on the ESPN network, so streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.